this is an informal meeting, and the only thing that the main thing is to learn a little bit about your experience last week at the Green Accelerator, and to tell us how was it, what did you get out of it, and to learn also in which other ways we could support you in your endeavors. So this is very basic. We have 30 minutes, and it's just to discuss and tell us. Well, first of all, I would like to know if you got to know each other at the event, or to meet or say hello at least.
Yeah, me and Florian had a chat after the pitching, which was really nice. So you got to sort of talk about startup things and what things were concerning us and our companies or what we needed to improve on. It was really interesting discussion actually.
Yeah, it was really
Very
fun,
good.
especially because it turned out that Luke, I mean, he's working a lot on hydrogen, right? Which is super exciting. And I have some good friends also working in hydrogen and really enjoyed that. Mariana, unfortunately, we somehow missed. We tried to connect over WhatsApp, but then there was so many things going on, so many people to talk to, which was super exciting. And then I think we kind of lost each other a little bit.
So in the meantime, Florian, tell us how was your experience at the Green
Mhm.
Accelerator?
Yeah, no, I think it was super exciting, and also saying here again, thank you especially to Moonshot community for making that possible. I think that was really cool. Because I've, at least for my part, I've never been to like in Davos during World Economic Forum, and was always like this. Hey, how does this actually look like? How does it happen? We've been there only for like that for 2 days, which is not that long. Normally, I would recommend go the whole week. Um, but I think it's a very interesting mix, like right? It's like in this Alpine city, a lot of pop-up stores from many different companies presenting. So you can meet a lot of different people, which is very exciting. Then there's so many events that you actually don't know where to go to. So many people always advise us, hey, just go with the flow and see what happens. So the only planned one, let's say that way, was the Green Accelerator Davos, and which was really good for us at least. We also met actually a lot of scientists, which was at least for me quite surprising. I knew there are going to be a lot of VCs, also entrepreneurs, but then we've also met a lot of scientists from the US actually, which we already had a follow up with. We've met some other startups who face similar challenges like us. Someone which operating more on the water treatment, which is again for us very interesting. So I think overall the event was just really amazing.
Yeah,
Good.
and
That's good. Yeah.
yeah, I just sort of want to echo the thanks as well. I think it was a really interesting opportunity. Like Florian, I hadn't been there before, so it was really good to sort of go there and soak up sort of the atmosphere and understand how it all works. It's really interesting because there's a lot of people there with a lot of energy and motivation, and so you kind of absorb some of that energy when you go and talk to everyone. And yeah, like you meet people from all sorts of backgrounds, people who are CEOs of big companies. You've got small companies, different tech companies do all sorts of things, so you kind of get a really interesting overlook of lots of different industries and what's going on, what's very exciting in energy, cryptocurrency, all sorts of things that are going on. Yeah, I think that was my perspective as well. I think I was a bit skeptical at first about the event, going to the event, but I think I came out thinking it was a good decision, and it's a very interesting place, and probably would look to go back again.
Yeah, I think what was quite exciting, you see like the different kind of startups who pitched there as well. So some were working on really like building up water treatment. Some other companies were working on how do we get fresh drinking water in deserts. Then there were other ones who worked on how can I secure food supply. Yeah. Then other nature-based solution. I mean, we are working on direct air capture, right? How to remove the CO2 from there. Then look on hydrogen. Some with fashion. So everything really related to climate, but so different. And I'm meeting all these people at one place. I think this is where the value of these events are coming in, right? So like connecting with these kind of people.
You're
I,
right. Completely right.
and I sort of just also want to add, it's one of those interesting places where you make more of a personal connection. So it's not like you meet people in a business room, a meeting room, so you kind of end up forming that personal connection, which can sometimes go a bit further when you try and take discussions. They know about you, they know about the company, that what you do. I think that's a really useful thing to experience as well.
The next question is what did you get out of it? I mean, it's like any connections made that you're gonna follow up, or did you make any interesting VC that could be a game changer for your company, or so what do you bring and more all over the experience, no, on top of the experience.
Of course, I'm happy to start. I mean, on the following, so on the VC side, we're actually currently not fundraising, so we didn't go there for fundraise actually. But we've met some very interesting ones, some which also focus more on Series A. We've met a few business angels which we would like to follow up with. That was actually really nice. Some good connections, especially actually also some who will look at biotech or carbon removal, which is more I would say not always you find everywhere. On the second side, I mentioned we've met some really, really cool people from a leading climate research institute from the US. And they're actually also, for example, with one of them, he's also a professor and he's doing sometimes courses with his students and asked us to invite, hey, do you guys want to do something with the students together? Do you, I know a lot of people in the tech, should I connect you further with? That was something we really, really appreciated. And then the last point, which I think was always very nice, meeting the other startups. And we've met another startup who's working on, I mentioned a little bit before, on water treatment. They're like more like a spin-off from ETH Zurich and have a lot of like water experts in the network. And coincidentally, like we work a lot on membrane technologies, and you can take a lot from the wastewater treatment industry. And we're currently looking for experts in that field. And that's amazing, right? So we were just talking with them and they connected us further with. So this, I think for us, these three main outputs was very important. Yeah.
Super, thank you, Florian.
Yeah, and then happy to go next. So yeah, I mean, at first case, I sort of saw it as a really good opportunity to sort of like showcase about the company, what we do at H2Go Power, and actually even generally with hydrogen, because we've got so many things going on. So people just getting the awareness about our technology and the field in general is really, really useful. And like Florian said, there's lots of angel investors and more like family sort of investment groups as well. So that we're obviously looking to fundraise at the moment, and so having those connections was really useful. And I think also like Florian said, the other angle is sort of like the collaboration sort of angle. So other technologies that could pair nicely with what you're doing. We met like someone who is running a battery company, and you don't often think hydrogen batteries go together, but there's some nice synergies in some instances. So that was really useful. And because a lot of what we do is project based, so getting technology out in the field. So forming these like strategic collaborations across Europe is really useful for us. So I think we took that value from it as well. And finally, we're also growing, and we're looking to hire new people. And hopefully, by using this as a platform to talk about the company, then we can get people who are maybe interested in hydrogen to come and apply for some of the jobs that we have open as well. So it's kind of those three sides: investors, collaborators, and hiring.
And how are you planning to follow up? Because I remember I was in presenting at the Green Accelerator last year in Davos. That's how I met Senka, and how are you planning to like follow up with the connections? Because that was my small problem right after Davos, because you had like you bring like a ton of business cards in your pocket, and it's like, wow, and who was this one and who was that one, and and it's like a kind of mess. The recommendation of a friend of mine was like, you need to do it in the first week to reconnect with all these people, otherwise everyone forgets about you. So I tried to follow up, but it was really, really difficult. So how are you planning to like do this continuation or?
Yeah, I think we did it quite structured actually. We're getting better in this because we know it from other events. So we use Notion as a knowledge management tool, and just have a big Notion page of all the like for every event we go to, and we made a huge list of all the people we've met, what we talked a little bit about or what could be interesting, and actually did all the follow-ups this weekend already, because I fully agree. Otherwise, you will completely forget it. So we did it luckily already.
Oh wow. So you did the homework right after the event. Well done, well done.
I mean, the advantage, at least from taking all these train rides from Davos, was like really then you have time in the train to exactly do that, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It took me for me it was like 3 hours or four, no, 4 trains and 2 planes to reach home
Mm.
the way back. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. It's quite a long trip, so you have to. Yeah, it's right out in the sticks. So you do have to plan out your journey, but it's actually all right when you realize what you need to do. But yeah, just like again, what Florian said. So yeah, we've also got Notion. We haven't quite utilized it to its full capacity like you've got there, but I recommend it's a very useful tool. But yeah, it's completely right. It's all, you need to respond as quickly as possible because it's I think like literally the next day, send a message saying really good to meet you, we'll follow up in a week's time or something. It's you need to kind of keep that conversation going, and like you say, there is a lot of information there, so you have to keep on top of it. And I mean, I'm coming back to my everyday work. I've got a part, I've been away sort of a week, so I've got a big pile of work I need to go through, so it's quite a lot of time management around it, but it's really important to keep those connections as warm as possible, yeah, and keep track of those conversations, which, like you say, yeah, responding things as quickly as possible.
Can you share with us like something funny about what happened in Davos and any which is like more or personal or fun or anything that it happened to you specifically that it's interesting and
I think from our perspective, yeah. So the Davos brand is quite good because when we posted on LinkedIn that we were going out there, someone reached out to us and they were like a CEO of a big corporation, and they said, "Oh, you're out in Davos, so you should have a meeting." So we had a meeting, and he's like, because and then it was sort of the company was quite strategically a good company for us to get to know. And then he sort of mentioned, oh yeah, I actually we did a crowdfunding round in 2021, and he's like, oh, I actually put my own money into your company as I'm actually a shareholder. And we were like, oh wow, why have we not leveraged this connection already? And it was only our trip out to Davos that ended up igniting that interaction. So and we didn't even have to then travel, so but it was just the brand of it, which was really useful. So that was kind of a very that was sort of a funny story from our side. That was really well.
very good story indeed. Thank you, Luke.
That's a pretty good story. I will never be able to keep up with that for sure. I mean, for us, maybe more on the private side, which I thought was quite funny. When I arrived in Davos, because we also were sleeping outside somewhere else, right? Because it was just too expensive. I thought, okay, first I really need to eat something very urgently because like we're gonna be in the event whole day talking and there will not be food or something. And then turns out that at every event, every corner, there's so much different food. And I would also enjoy this from the different countries, or like there were like a lot of like how do you say pickup stores from or booths from the Middle East, and loved like how it was really really cold out there and people were standing outside giving you hot chocolate, right? And then also with like some local dishes from their countries. So I think that was really really cool, and I enjoyed. I didn't expect. Thought it's quite something funny to share.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that. And then probably I guess Zenka sent to you some invitations to some other events. And yeah, I ended up in a innovation manufacturing conference at a super nice restaurant last year with incredible food. And I was sitting there and I was like, wow, this is amazing, no? And yeah, there's always a lot of food and a lot of drinking around for free always, but yeah, that's something that it's special also to share food with random people across the world.
Yeah, I think on the food front, yeah, like you said, there's so much available up there, so you don't really have to. If you make sure you get lots of invites to lots of places, you can generally cover things. For one evening, we did have we searched far and wide for some food, and the only place we could find was a cheese fondue place in the basement of one of the hotels, which was absolutely incredible. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but I highly recommend it. I think I was told they only serve it in the basement because it smells so much, so they don't normally have it anywhere else. But that was a really good experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your experience. We will continue developing and bring you new opportunities in different aspects to support you. We have taken notes of these suggestions, and we will see what we can do. And really thank you for your quotes, also for the article and for the promotion in the social networks. And really looking forward to see you in the next step.
Likewise. Thank you so much again. I think it's really cool what you guys are building up there, and very happy to be part of it. And I'm very excited what happens in this year. Yeah, what happens in the next few months, and about the future programs.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think we're all on a very exciting journey. And yeah, look to see how things progress. And yeah, looking forward to connect and grow